Welcome, everyone, to the next episode of Bumpin' and Thumping, your podcast featuring everything about for independent wrestling from around the world. And join with me today is the amazingly talented, relentless Barbie, Rae Larsen. Rae is 1/3 straight out of Saginaw. She's an amazing friend. She's a loving mother. She's the first ever New Edge Pro women's champion. And she's one of the first women in MPWA tag team history to hold her belt with her partner, Heather Blue. And when we come right back, we will get into everything that is the Relentless Barbie, Rae Larsen.
Washtenaw Golfside in Ypsilanti, where everyone comes to play.
Welcome back, everyone, to Bumping and Thumping. Join with me is the amazing Rae Larsen. Rae, how are you feeling today?
Good. How are you doing, Annie? Thank you so much for having me.
You know, I am excellent. Anytime that I get to use my energy to help elevate the platform of someone I consider to be a very, very, very dear friend, I'm always energized to do so. So I want to just get to the basics and just get this question out of the way that just everyone wants to know. Where have you started your training and where do you continue to train?
So I started a little over 2 years ago, which is impossible to believe that in 2 years, my world has shifted. Like 2 years ago, if you had said to me, hey, you'll have no less than 2 championships and a third on the way, unbelievable. But I started at Ultimate Championship Wrestling in Saginaw, Michigan, under Rohit Raju from Impact, now TNA Wrestling. And I worked with him until he moved on. And then I trained with Johnny Bravo, who is still part of TNA Wrestling. And then I tore my ACL and I was actually out for 6 months. I tore my ACL in my debut and I wrestled on my ACL until November of 2022. And
oh my gosh.
And then I had my surgery in November of 2022. And I was out until May of 2023, where like I sat and I watched and I trained with everybody, you know, kind of at least rehabbing, lifting, doing all the right things I could do to get myself in the right mindset to move forward. And then I started working with Sean Tyler. He was transitioning out of House of Truth as the assistant trainer and opening up New Edge Pro Wrestling Academy. So I worked with him to get myself starting to get back into ring shape. And then because of my ties with Johnny Bravo, out of TNA, Can-Am Professional Wrestling School out of Windsor, Canada. Scott Demore owns that school, who is the previous president of TNA Wrestling. He owns Can-Am School, and Josh Alexander is the head trainer there. So for about 6 months, myself and a few other people have been training there. So
you've accomplished all of this in a little over 2 years.
Yeah.
How, and even after that injury, I can only imagine, I've had my own fair share of injuries and how disappointing that is to have that momentum interrupted. How did you get to that point? Like, how did you overcome that huge hurdle? And you're still here within 2 year span. That's insanity to me. Explain, like, how?
It was like, I'm not mincing words. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. You've had sports injuries. As somebody who's incredibly active, to go from full activity to no activity in less than a week, it was mind altering. And The first month after that surgery is the hardest part because you can't do anything. I was laying in my bed and I was doing like leg slides with my leg.
Yeah.
I lost 2 inches of muscle on my left leg in a month. Yeah. So, and then to put that muscle back on, like, you know what that struggle is to rebuild your body back
You.
stronger. But I'm very fortunate because even though I tore the ACL, I didn't know I tore my ACL for 6 months. So I was still wrestling. I thought I had maybe tweaked the muscle. Like, I thought maybe it was just like a strain. And I thought, like, wow, like you see when people blow their ACLs or hurt things, like they can't put weight on it. So I was like, well, I can put weight on it. I can do all the things. I can still lift. Like, there's no way this could be an actual tear. And I think because I was able to lift right up until the week of my surgery, that prepped me to be able to have less atrophy in the muscles. So I was able to bounce back quicker. But I've had people look at me and say, what I've done, the rehab that I've had, the path that I've made isn't possible. I've had people look at me and tell me what I've done is impossible, and I'm standing in front of them.
So what is fundamentally present in your thinking in comparison to the source of that criticism? You know, like, what is possible within you that makes it possible for this to happen?
No isn't an answer.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely. And not only have you been training and learning and just immersing yourself in all of things wrestling, like, while you have this injury, but you don't stop being a mother either. So, like,
no,
what did you put in, like, your mental programming to always keep going in addition to no never being the answer?
I think it's having a support system. People like you. I mean, you and I outside of wrestling are very dear friends. And we've built a support system for each other that is a safety net. And when we have those moments of, we both know, like, we both know that no isn't an answer, but we also both know that when things get hard, we're manifesting our goals. But when things get hard, there's only one solution. And if we need that little bit of oomph, that little bit of reinforcement, we know we can turn around and look at the other and say, hey, I know this is my source. I know this is my path, but maybe you can help me reinforce it a little bit more, because right now I'm having a hard time seeing that. And so it's people like you I've surrounded myself with, people like my trios team straight out of Saginaw. After my knee surgery, they checked in with me. Nick was every single day. People like the Gazelle from Animal House was every single day. People like Austin Travis, who just got cleared, that was every single day. People like A7s, that was weekly. Like, these people didn't let me fail.
Yeah. Right.
And when you have people that don't let you fail, people like Sean Tyler and Kevin Calloway from The Purge, they didn't let me fail. So
Right.
I put an immense amount of pressure on myself, but when you surround yourself with the right people, it's hard to fail.
And it's so true because not too long after, I think your injury occurred before my knee injury. And it's just crazy, like, how similar our paths intertwined. But you were
Mm-hmm.
experiencing yours and I was experiencing my own. But we were there neck and neck. Like, there have been many times where I've been going through the darkness and I've relied on your light to help
Mm-hmm.
push me through because of what Rae Larsen does as an individual. Like, your energy just sends out this beacon of light that just proves what is possible. And you're right. Like, I have the great support system that you have as well, and it's just so amazing to me, because that's been a source of inspiration to keep going, because you know what? No is not an answer. There's too much on the line to go back now because that's not an option. Rae, we've unpacked so much in this first segment, but we got to leave some room for our sponsors because they love talking too. So we have so much to cover, and we will be right back.
Hi, I'm Jay Aubrey Jackson, the $50 computer virus guy in Metro Detroit. We are the home of the true flat $50 computer repair. $50 a job, no matter how long it takes. Never a penny more. Netbooks, laptops, desktop towers, all-in-one computers, phones, iPhones, tablets, iPads, and game systems. Free diagnosis and money-back guarantee. If we don't fix it, you pay nothing. And we do same-day service within 24 hours of drop-off. And are open 7 days a week, so come to the computer virus guy now.
Welcome back, everyone, to Bumping and Thumping, your podcast featuring everything about and for independent wrestling from around the world. I'm your host, the divinely designed Annie O'Neill. Join with me, the extravagant, the amazing, relentless Rae Larsen. Rae, you have a historic moment that is approaching you. We are almost to that moment on March 30th. So why don't you take it away and tell everyone what is going on for Rae Larsen?
I am based, so for people that don't know, I am based out of Michigan, and in Kalkaska, Michigan, which is about 4 hours north of Detroit, is Mr. Chainsaw Professional Wrestling. And Mr. Chainsaw has been around for 17 years. Some people that have been there include Cody Rhodes. Let's see, who else? Aaron O'Ryan, Billy Starks, Trey Miguel. Let's see, all of DTA. And they have a wide gambit of people. And Aaron O'Ryan is the latest of their heavyweight champions. And in their 17-year history, they have never had a female champion, let alone a female contender for said championship. And on March 30th, I will be the first ever contender for said championship. So,
and I was there that show when that news was revealed to you, and you had no idea. And just to see Mikey Zero reveal to you that you would be taking on Aaron O'Ryan in a historic manner is just a testament to your faith, not only to yourself, but to everyone who invests in you, because, it's all cyclical. And you are one of the hardest working
I know,
people.
right? It was a big
and you have
ugly cried, man.
Oh my god, we'll ugly cry together. This is just the solidarity that we have. But you so much is asked of you, and you handle it all gracefully, and so much of what you go through is unseen. And just congratulations.
Thank you.
No matter the outcome of that match, well, you're gonna win. Obviously, you're gonna freaking win. But you earned this, and you deserve it. So, tell us about the road you've taken to prepare for your battle with Aaron.
This has been, so every match I have, I treat a little differently. Since I started wrestling at UCW, I was the only woman in my training class. And I am the only woman to graduate from the UCW Academy. How many women are active in Michigan, Annie? Maybe 5, 8 total?
Mm-hmm.
So I've pretty much gotten my chops from wrestling men. Unfortunately, there is a stigma within the state that, and not just within the state, I would say nationally, that women wrestling men looks like domestic violence. And I vehemently disagree with that stigma, because I hope more than anything that we can start to look like a contender against another contender. It doesn't have to look like a man beating up a woman or a woman beating up a man. I think anything in wrestling, if portrayed a certain way, could look uncomfortable. Somebody could look like they're bullying somebody, etc. But I have had the fortunate set of events where I have been able to wrestle a number of men, to the point that for a long time I didn't realize I was as big as I was compared to a lot of the girls. Like, I'm not that big of a woman. I'm 5'7", I'm 160 pounds, but that's a lot bigger than a lot of women. And so wrestling men, I learned I had to use my body and their bodies against themselves.
100%.
With women, I can be powerful. I can overpower them. So the same things don't work with the guys. So when I work with Aaron, a lot of times I like to work with guys that are bigger than me. And when I start to work with them, I ask the guys to actually put a lot of effort into our training sessions so that I understand the type of resistance I'll be working with in the actual match. I asked your partner, Kevin, to show me some free wrestling moves, free catch wrestling moves, some Brazilian jiu-jitsu, just like you do, because I want to understand how I can use Aaron's body against him. Maybe some judo moves so I can toss him, rolling arm bars, so I can have an advantage. Because if I try to go hit for hit or move for move, he has more strength than me. That's physiology, that's genetics. And so my training's been a little bit different this time around.
Sure. And you also have to, like, my combat experience is different than yours, but a lot of it resonates, a lot of it crosses over. I have to believe in myself, in that power of my innate ability to use my body against someone who's way bigger than I am. And I have to overcompensate in different movements. And if this doesn't work, then I have to try something else. And it's not enough to you have to put yourself in that position to see what you're really capable of. And one thing I absolutely admire about you is your willingness to be uncomfortable with comfortable with the uncomfortable, because that is, it's very triggering. And we have to, because I relate in the fact that I train differently with women than I do with men. And it's interesting how you know your own energy enough to identify what that is to you. And I just seeing the progression from when you started to where you are now, like, you're a completely transformed person. And one thing I want to ask you before we take a quick break.
Yeah.
What has been the most profound lesson that you've learned in your wrestling career so far?
Quit trying to mold yourself to something that you're not. So when I first started, I received a lot of people said I looked like Charlotte Flair. A lot of people said I moved like Charlotte Flair. A lot of, and that's high praise. I would argue that Charlotte Flair is one of the greatest athletes within professional wrestling right now. Take gender out of it. I wanted so much to be my own person that I almost, I didn't take offense to it, but I was like, no, I want to be Ray. And then I was like, no, there's a reason why people are saying certain things. And so I started to sit there and I started to think about, well, what are the things I'm naturally good at? And when I was wrestling with Kevin and Nick and you were watching and we were doing some of the grappling, you had told me how to lock in the rolling arm bar a little bit better. And I realized, use what I'm best with. My lower half of my body is the strongest part of my body. Obviously you can't see right here, but I'm a little bit, I'm thicker through my lower half. So why am I not using more moves that are lower half dominant? So why am I not using more submissions that put the power in my lower half? Those sorts of things. So quit trying to be something that I think I should be and just be what Rae is.
100%.
And that goes for anybody, for any person. Be just what's natural for you. Don't be what you think you should be.
You know, Rae, your level of authenticity resonates so heavily, and you are the walking example of everything you embody. And I'm just so grateful to know you. And we have so much left to go through, but our sponsors, you know, they want another moment to speak. So we'll let them have the stage and then we'll come back. We'll be right back.
Washtenaw Golfside in Ypsilanti, where everyone comes to play.
Welcome back to Bumping and Thumping, your podcast featuring everything about and for independent wrestling from around the world. Join with me, the Relentless Barbie, Rae Larsen. Rae, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you today. Thank you for your time, your intellect, your grace. Not only do you break records, but you break barriers. And I just absolutely love that about you.
Thank you.
I just had a question. How do you carry yourself against opposition that you face in terms of unfair treatment that women in the industry face? How do you handle that, and how do you go above and beyond that?
I think it's all about finding avenues where you can continue to be successful. And I think it's about eliminating the ones that won't work with you. So look at Mr. Chainsaw. Mr. Chainsaw is an avenue that supports intergender wrestling in the right way. They're not making it about a male versus a female. They're making it about two contenders. Now, there are other promotions that don't believe in intergender wrestling. You don't see me working at those promotions. And I think that there's a dialogue that we can all have, but if that dialogue isn't willing to be had, you're not going to see me at those promotions. And that's why you don't see me everywhere in Michigan. My time is valuable. And if you're not going to treat my time with value, I'm not going to be there.
I mean, we have to go where we're celebrated, right? And we can't we can't be everywhere. It's just not going to happen. So, you know, I find strength in giving my energy to the places that support me, that allow me to have that creative energy that I have, but that also I need to be listened to. And, you know, I'm not sure if a lot of people know how to do that, you know. So women have to curate their outward appearance, how they talk. We have to be diplomatic in the way that we conduct our business, because it is a business. You know, this business is both. I think it's been way more personal than it's ever been professional. I mean, there's
the line is blurred if it's ever been. And unfortunately, with it being that way, you almost have to have you screw me once kind of personality where hey, my time is so valuable, especially with my son, that my time with my son is so valuable. So it's like, if you're not going to provide value to me, that's time I can be spending with my son.
And I
I
feel
don't,
like a lot of women, they have trouble saying those things. They have trouble honoring their desire or value or viewing their time as valuable. So and it's one of the most profound insights I've ever had. You know,
mhm.
like your time is valuable. And you know, in your language and just listening to you, you are incredibly passionate about women's empowerment.
I am.
Um, and it's interesting. Why do you think professional wrestling became that avenue for you to express the importance of that female empowerment, that women empowerment?
Is there anything more celebrated than a female body that's flipping somebody around? Is
Okay.
there anything more celebrated than another female being able to do what she wants to do on her terms? Because
No.
I don't see anything more celebrated in that. And hey, the bigger our muscles, the more celebrated we are. Like, I didn't know what a strong woman looked like at times until I watched women's wrestling.
And until you put yourself in that position to be one. And it's crazy just how a different reframe of something in your mind has just opens up so much possibility. Like you go from watching to becoming one.
And I hope that more women see me in women's wrestling, and little girls, even little boys, and they go, man, if that's what strong is, I want to be it.
And I can't think of, you know, a better way of being. I mean, if you're going to do anything, go for it. Just go for it.
Absolutely.
And I just love that no matter how much opposition that you face, you keep going. And that alone builds so much muscle. I mean, that's the act of muscle building. You tear protein down and become
Muscles
something
to
even more of
rebuild them.
yourself. That's it. That's it. And you just embody that in mind, body, and soul. And it's just I'm just in awe of you. You are just destined for incredible things. And you are on the precipice of receiving those things in physical manifestation. And the sky's the limit for you, Rae Larsen. And I just love that I get to witness your tale because
Thank you, Annie. I love you.
I love you too. And before we break, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsors, magicmosquitoformula.com. And I want to send my love and my gratitude for them for making this possible because I just get to do what I love with people I love. And I can't ask for more than that. So, on that note, we'll be right back.
The secret to building passive income and generating wealth in real estate is having access to capital to buy those great deals when they come along. One thing most real estate moguls have going for them is knowing how to utilize private funding and where to find it. For those that don't, there's tsquarelending.com. We provide real estate investors of all levels and experience with the means to acquire the funding they need to purchase and renovate, purchase and hold, or refinance properties that they currently own. How? By connecting them with private lenders that base their approval on the appraisal value of the property only, not a credit score. Our lenders feature interest-only loans, approval for a loan in 24 hours or less, no debt-to-income ratios, refi properties after only 60 days of seasoning. Don't delay. Call today. 877-49-LOANS. 877-495-6267. Or visit us on the web. www.t-squarelending.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Bumping and Thumping, your podcast featuring everything for independent wrestling from around the world. Rae, this has been an amazing adventure. Why don't you tell everyone how they connect with you and what's coming up for you?
So March 30th, I have Mr. Chainsaw Professional Wrestling in Kalkaska, Michigan. After that, you can see me April 20th at Metro Pro Wrestling Chronic Chaos, and that's in Wyandotte, Michigan. My socials, Facebook, you can reach out to Rae Larsen, and Instagram, you can reach out to Relentless_Jack.
Rae, you are one of the most fantastic creatures I've ever met. You are in alignment with your words and your actions, and the more you believe in yourself, the more you are going to accelerate the process of everything manifesting for you. And I just love your entire being. And it's just an honor to do what I love with you, because if I didn't have you, I wouldn't have a show. And thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me today, Annie.
Yeah. All right, everyone. This has been another episode of Bumping and Thumping. We'll catch you next time.